Besides all the actual ranked decks, I wanted to try a little bit of a more fun deck, and I was thinking, what if we put a Chatot in the Rampardos deck? Now, Chatot has the attack Mimic, which shuffles your hand in your deck and draws a card for each card in your opponent's hand, so you can basically swap out your hand almost constantly. And since it is the only basic Pokemon in your hand or in your deck, you will always draw a Chatot first. Besides that, I use a lot of Pokemon tools and items such that we can cycle through the cards a little bit quicker and hopefully get the Rampardos and the Skull Fossil Rare Candy as fast as possible. So yeah, let's play some games and see if it is actually kind of fun to play. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, we start with a Chatot in hand, basically guaranteed, and we also have a Skull Fossil already, which is great. We can play that, and we can also play a Pokeball and a Giant Cape, and we get another Chatot, which we are also gonna play. Like, try to get your hand to be as empty as possible. Play Professor's Research as well. Let's see, Iono and Lily, so sadly we cannot really play those, but then we end the turn, and then next turn we could use Chatot's attack to regain a hand. Alright, so we got a Rampardos, however we don't have a rare candy, so we would rather have a new hand, and I think we're just gonna potion. So we don't want a lot of these cards to go back into our deck, so let's also play Iono. Maybe we get very lucky and we draw a rare candy Rampardos. No, we do get a Rampardos, but now, as you can see, the opponent has 5 cards in his hand, so we get 5 cards again. And since we played a bunch of cards, we only have 12 cards remaining in our deck, and we get some new cards here with a bigger chance of the Rampardos Rare Candy, which we have right now. So now, since we do have Rare Candy Rampardos, we can play it. Here we go, and then do this, and let's draw another few cards. Pokeball is not gonna do anything, but we can play it regardless. And then we can retreat our Chatot into the Rampardos, and Rampardos will be able to do his attack. So that is kinda how this deck is supposed to function. The funny thing is, we only have 4 cards left in our deck, while this guy has 9 cards left. So we went through our deck really quickly, but that's kind of the point of this deck. It's a very hyper aggro deck that wants to win very early on. Alright, so we might get... he uses his Aerodactyl to shuffle my Rampardos back into my deck, so yeah, that's interesting. Alright, let's see what we can do here then. He still has 6 cards in his hand, I only have 3. So we could play red just to get a little bit more of a chance of actually drawing the cards that we need. Besides, he doesn't have an EX card, so we should be okay. And let's see what we draw then. So we should draw 6 cards, so we only have like 2 left maybe. There's a rare candy, so we only had 1 rare candy left. But we do draw it, so since we only have 1 card left now. Alright, he Ionos as well, doesn't matter, we should still draw everything. We only have 1 card left in our hand, or in our deck, so here we go. Still 1 card, so we will draw it next turn. Let's see. Okay, there comes Kangaskhan. The thing about his deck is that if his Aerodactyl flips heads again, then we cannot evolve our Rampardos anymore, so we will lose. That is kind of funny that we are against this guy right now. So he has the ultimate counter. Let's see. We can Skull Fossil. Sure. put the Rocky Helmet here, and retreat our Chatot into the Rampardos again. We will be able to get a Rampardos and a Skull Fossil back into our deck if he flips heads, but yeah, we won't be able to play it anymore and we won't be able to do damage. But if he doesn't have another Pokemon that is able to do damage, then he won't be able to knock out any of my Pokemon either, because Primal Wing Beat won't do damage. Okay, and he flips tail, so we do win here. Would have been quite funny if he didn't had a, or if he got a head there, but alright. So yeah, that's kind of how this deck works, and I think it is pretty fun to play. Alright, so we are against some Bounce Sweet deck. At least that includes Bounce Sweet. We got a Rampardos in hand, but that's not what we want, of course, because we also need the Skull Fossil and Rare Candy. Alright, so he has 4 cards left in his hand. We can play Iono here. Can also Potion first, so let's do that first, and Iono. And then we get a new hand, which includes Professor's Research and a Skull Fossil. So we play Skull Fossil and then use Mimic again to draw another 2 cards. So we are now at 8 cards in our deck and he is at 14. And we got another Skull Fossil, pretty good. Alright, so here comes the Starly. And he removes the tool, which is fine, I don't really care that much. And we can Rare Candy Rampardos. So there we go. This is what this deck should do. Be able to Rampardos on the 2nd or 3rd turn. Alright, so there is a concede from our opponent. He probably just didn't have that great of a hand. But the point of this deck is kinda, if you don't have a great hand, then you can redraw your hand like multiple times per turn. Alright, so he's playing a Giratina deck. Interesting choice, I would say, in this casual game mode, but alright. Whatever floats your boat. Let's play Pokeball Rocky Helmet. Get our hand as low as we can. There we go. And then we can use Mimic to draw 3 cards. Now I do have a Rare Candy and a Rampardos in my hand, but I think it is better to redraw and get something else, because now we have a Skull Fossil, which is the one that we need to play first anyways, and it's not like we are not able to draw new cards. Alright, so we Skull Fossil, we Professor's Research, let's see what we get. A Pokeball, so we can play the Pokeball. That is fine. Nothing, yep, that's expected. And then we use Mimic again. Let's see if we draw something good. The Rare Candy is what we needed. And another Professor's Research. Alright, not too bad. So he now has like 6 cards in his hand. And all his spots are filled with Pokemon, so here he goes. Tapu Lele is in. There's the Bonnet. And he shouldn't be able to play any more cards now. Somehow he has outdrawn me though, so that is interesting. Another Rare Candy and a Rampardos, that's pretty nice. So let's play it. Here we go. Let's play Giant Cape as well. Put energy on Chatot. Retreat. And there we go. So now we take 50, but we have a bunch of healing, so we should be okay. Alright, Bennett is gonna do 30 damage, but unless he flips... Okay, he does flip heads. So he is gonna take off the energy, and then I can't attack anymore with Rampardos. And I also can't retreat it, which is annoying. So let's just heal him up, because in the meantime I'm still gonna draw cards, so that's alright. And then obviously we can't put a energy on Rampardos, but he is gonna have to use a lot of turns in order to actually knock out my Rampardos if he keeps playing only Bennett. So let's see what he does. Yeah, another 30, we can just heal for another 60. And there is the Skull Fossil, and then there's a 1 in 3 chance that we get the other Rampardos. And then we should be okay again. So here we go, end the turn again. He is trying to wait for his Giratina to be able to one-shot my Rampardos, but he won't be able to. It does have 170 HP on both Giratina, so my red won't be able to help here. Not too much at least. Okay, so there's Rampardos. So we reckon the other Rampardos. So there we go. And now he has to play either Giratina if he wants to knock out my Rampardos here. Unless he wants to play the very long game and try knock out my Rampardos with his Bennett. Which could very well be the case. So we just end turns. That's basically what we do. So he has 2 fully charged up Giratinas, and he's still gonna use his Bennett to knock out my Rampardos here. We can heal, but then it will only take longer. I am just gonna do that. So now it will take another 4 turns. Let's see if he has the patience to use Bennett. Okay, he does, I guess. Because he knows if he doesn't, then his Giratina is gonna be knocked out. However, I do still have a Chatot, so I think we're okay. Another 30, need another 2 turns. So there's another end to turn. Alright, so there's a Chatot. Gonna have another Bennett, probably. And there it is, only 1 more attack. And then what do we do? I guess we swap in the Chatot. I know I probably can't win this game, but it's just kind of funny to me. Alright, so my Rampardos is finally knocked out. And we are now at the stage where we put in our Chatot. And sure, let's use Mimic. So we redraw the 1 card that we have. Is he gonna use Bennett again? Yep. The thing is, I cannot use my Rampardos, so I am gonna try make the game run out. We are at 26 turns right now, and he needs a few more turns if he wants to do anything. So this is turn 27. Here we go. Okay, so he needs 1 more point. We are turn 28, and he shouldn't be able to knock out my Rampardos in 1 go. So now what is he gonna do? Alright, Team Rocket Grunt. No energies got taken off. And now what is he gonna do? Alright, so he still uses a Bennett. Sadly, we don't have any healing anymore, but this is turn 30, so the game ends in a tie. Okay, so we tied him.